because continuously we are trying to gain happiness and get rid of pain. For several things, we approach several people. You need housing, you go to a contractor. You need health, you go to your doctor. You need accounting, you go to a chartered accountant. Like that, several things, you go to different people and procure things and try to improve your life. But whom will you approach if you have the problem of old age and death? Who will solve that? Other problems are not same for all, but old age and death are same for all. Inevitable. Whom do you approach? If you can't approach, that means there is no solution. If there is no solution, people will not be putting forth so much of effort for from time immemorial. Therefore, there must be solution which we do not know. And if you are seeking, then if you have become fit for that information or knowledge, when you have prepared your personality to receive that knowledge, then you come across a guru. He tells you the problems that you solve through acquiring house, car, family. They are all solutions for a particular need. And those solutions are also products of time and space. Therefore, the solutions are not permanent. Neither the needs are permanent. So in this, it's all the time adjusting. Where is peace? Expecting, adjusting. Where is peace? So the teacher says, if there has to be a permanent solution, it cannot be through acquisition, through production, through purification, right? Through culturing. It has to be beyond the realm of time and space. Means it should be everywhere. What is there everywhere has to be only known. Has to be only known. What you don't have, you can acquire. What you have, you only have to know. So therefore, when Arjuna was confronted with the problem of death of all, Sri Krishna had to give him the knowledge. The problem of death itself is based on false information that people are what they appear to be as physical forms. The physical apparatus, the mind, the intellect, they're all your gadgets to help you to go through life, to transact. Everyone, whether knowledgeable or ignorant, whether enlightened or not, all the time says, my mind is not steady, my mind is agitated, my body is paining. When you say my mind, my body, who are you? Why didn't it occur to you to ask this question who claimed to be at the height of evolution in the 21st century? Why didn't it occur to you to ask, if it's my body, if it's my mind, who am I? That was the one which sees all the changes of the body from childhood to youth to old age. And when that body is cast off, it takes another body. That changeless factor, the subject, you, is eternal, blissful, conscious existence. Know that to be you. Do not identify yourself with changing, finite, defective gadgets of you, the body, mind, and intellect. This was the message Sri Krishna gave to Arjuna. But then, even when told, depending upon the purity of the mind, people understand. All do not understand. It depends upon the purity of the mind. So you have to purify the mind. What do you mean by purify the mind? Bring out all the dirt in you in the form of impressions, past impressions, called vasanas, prejudices, likes and dislikes. Bring them out. Then the mind becomes pure. It can grasp. How do you bring them out? Through changing your life's priorities. Today, all your life is to feed the body, mind, intellect, means feeding the ego. Try to live for others' sake. Then what happens is, you are shifting your attention from this body, mind, intellect to the totality, which is an expression of God. In that, your expectations reduce. Your dependency of the body, mind, intellect reduce. And you do not pick up new vasanas because you now are dedicating your activities to others. This process is called karma yoga. First, knowledge. You have to become fit for knowledge through karma yoga. And after karma yoga, you have to stay there in that state of purified mind and focus your attention to truth. This is called Jnana Yoga. This is called Samadhi Yoga. So that is the section we are doing as Sthita Prajna section. There they start. How did you get all these problems? How did you get these vasanas? Because you have acquired them through your desires. Why did you have desires? Because you felt incomplete. Why did you feel incomplete? Because you felt you are the body, you are the mind, you are the intellect. So ignorance of yourself makes you feel incomplete, therefore desires. So cast off the desires through knowledge, through understanding, through focusing to the self. Get rid of the desires. Then your mind becomes steady. That's called Sthita Prajna. Such persons, he says, when they are confronted with sukha and dukkha, they are equanimous. And as the cause form, shubha and ashubha, they maintain their equanimity. And when unavoidably they move in the world, when they see dangers to their state of equanimity, they withdraw their perceptions into the self like the tortoise withdraws its limbs when it senses danger. Yada samharate chayam kurmo gani vasarvashaha Indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya prajna pratisthita. Right? That's what we did last time. And now that process of purification through reducing desires is the subject matter. Vihaya vinivartanti, vishaya vinivartanti, niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. Verse 59. Verse 59. When you practice self-control like the tortoise, withdrawing your senses from their perceptions, focus it to the self. In due course, the sense objects withdraw from you. For some time, the taste will linger. And when you go on increasing your association with the self and experiencing that bliss, as you go on increasing, this taste also drops down. First, withdraw. When you withdraw, gradually the force of the objects becomes less on you. They withdraw from you. But there will be a little taste for them for some time. As you increase your association with this self, that taste also goes down. A lot of people who come to study, go on gathering information. They do not maintain satsang. Without satsang, without guru upasana, without devotion, you cannot take away the attachment to the outside world. And the studies that you do will not have its impact. So you need to continuously maintain an association with satsang, sadhus, japa, dhyana, going to temples, all that you have to do to detach from the outside world, and gradually the taste goes. How the objects withdraw, Gurudev gives a beautiful example. Supposing you are a chain smoker, whoever comes to you, your friend's home, especially if they've gone to Singapore, Dubai and all that, when they come, they will bring you a carton of cigarettes of your choice because they know you smoke. And next time when they come, you say, no, I stopped smoking. They stop bringing cigarettes to you. And the cigarettes that you had at home in the cupboard, you throw them out. Same thing with any other thing, liquor or anything else. So once you have detached from them, they go away from you, but for some time the taste will be there. Taste can be lost only when param društva, when you experience that higher state of consciousness, which can be done only through not merely sravana, listening, reflection, manana, nididhyasana, meditation, supported by satsang. You don't do this, you are putting a lot of effort in listening, you don't get the right dividends. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha tani samya sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Mark that one single word, matparaha. That is, if you do not focus your attention to God as the goal, matparaha, supreme goal, you cannot control the senses, because for an intelligent man also, even when he is striving, yatatohyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. They are so turbulent, they drift the mind away. Tani sarvani samyamya, control all of them. How? Yukta asita matparaha, integrating the mind and intellect, focusing to that God, to that self, the consciousness in you. Yukta asita matparaha. Then vashehi yasyendriyani, those senses become controlled and his intellect becomes steady. Tasya prajna pratisthitaha. Now, he gives us how this fall takes place, how this fall from our divine nature takes place, how to control it, how to stop it, how to stop it. This is called ladder of fall. The opposite of it is ladder of rise, given by Sri Shankaracharya in Bhagavat. We'll see that book later. Now we'll see the ladder of fall, how we fall. Dhyayato vishayan punsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammoha smriti vibhramaha smriti bhranshyat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. Buddhinashat, when you have lost your discrimination. Pranashyati, you are totally lost. Nashyati, lost. Pranashyati, totally lost. Why? You are a human being because of your discriminative power. When the discriminative power has gone, you cease to be a human being. You are an animal. Therefore, totally lost. How? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Vishaya, sense objects. In Sanskrit, Vishaya means that which binds. Sense objects bind you. How? Because you become dependent on them. Because you become dependent on them. Do you become dependent on something which you never knew? Even when you heard something is there, if you don't know about it, details, and you were not thinking about it, do you become attached? Attachment is a gradual process of your continuous thinking about an object or an experience. About an object or an experience. You saw something nice. You just appreciated and went off. It cannot bind you. It doesn't become an attachment. You start inquiring, what is that? Then the second thought, third thought, and now you must get it. Same thing for people who fall in love. It's not the first thought. You just appreciated and went off, no problem. Second thought, third thought, you have no choice. The example given in the scriptures is like the ball that falls and the steps. If you don't catch it at the very first step, the ball that is falling, you cannot catch it. Similarly, if you're not alert, if you're not vigilant, if you don't arrest the thought, if you do not arrest the thought, when it goes to objects, experiences, at the very first thought, you will not be able to stop it. You continuously think, and that thinking makes you dependent on that. I, the body, want it. I plus I want, Gurudev says, is attachment. I plus I want is attachment. Dhyayataha, continuous contemplation on that. Vishayan, objects. Pumsaha, this person. Sangaha, tish upajayate. Attachment to them comes. Sangat samjayate. From attachment, dependence, desire comes. Kamaha. And when you desire, there is an obstruction because this finite world, things are few. People wanting are many. Therefore, there are obstructions. When obstruction comes, anger comes. Kamat krodho bijayati. When anger comes, you do not know what you are speaking, what you should not speak, what you should not do. Complete clouding of your rational by your emotions. Total clouding of your rational through your emotions. It's not so easy. I know, even today I had one such experience where I lost my patience. After 61 years, because it is not so easy. You have to be vigilant. You have to be alert. So, kamat krodho vijayat. From desire comes anger. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. From anger comes delusion. Delusion, clouding of the rational intellect. Sammoha smriti vibramaha. From this delusion, you lose memory of all the values that you have gathered. Smriti, memory of values, culture, all you forget. Smriti Brahmshat, when you have lost memory of the values, Buddhi Nashaha, your discrimination is lost. When discrimination is lost, you are no more a human being, you are an animal. So Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. Where did it start? It started with continuous thinking of an object. That is where it starts. You come down in the ladder of fall. Now, what is the substitute? Mind cannot be without attaching to something or other all the time. So your mind will always be thinking. You cannot get rid of it. Then what you do? Give the mind something divine, something higher, something which makes you detach from the worldly things. When you go to temples, can anybody think of sensuous things? When you are before a Mahatma, can anybody be sensuous? Therefore, give your mind an alternative, Sat Sang, that which is real. Sat means real. Company of the real. These senses, sense world are all false. Give the mind something real, something that takes you to God, your own self. Satsang. Satsang are many, the ultimate satsang is your own mind turning to the self. Self is your satsang. Self is the satsang. But it's not easy, therefore external satsang is needed. Keeping the company of the Guru, keeping the company of the books, meeting Mahatmas, going to temples. When you do that, your mind detaches from the outside world. Satsangatve nitsangatvam. Nitsangatve nirmohatvam. When you are detached, mind is clear, no more deluded. Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam. When you are not deluded, your mind is steady, Sthita Prajna. Nischalatatve, when the mind is steady, Jivan Mukti, you are liberated, though living in the body from all dependence on the external world, which is called Jivan Mukti. Which is called Jivan Mukti. So that is the problem 62, 63, ladder of fall. Verse 9, Bhajagovindam, ladder of rise. So what is all that? Earlier sloka he said, Mat Paraha, keeping me as the goal, tuned to God. That's the only solution to get rid of all these problems. Raga Dvesha Viyuktaistu, Vishayan Indriyaischaran, Atma Vashyair Vidheyatma, Prasadamadi. None of us have a choice to completely throw off the world. We have to be in the world, move amongst the objects. Then how is this self-perfection possible? You take away your likes and dislikes from those objects, those experiences, those people. Meet them without likes and dislikes. What has to be done at that moment as a duty, do it. In a duty, likes and dislikes don't come. This minute I have to do this, do it. Do not allow into that action your likes and dislikes to come. That is ego. When you work for duty, dedicated activities for the purification of the self, service to God, likes and dislikes recede. So, act without ego means egocentric desires, without likes and dislikes. For what? For the cause of totality. When you work for totality, it becomes karma yoga. When you work for your ego and egocentric desires, it becomes karma. Karma binds. Karma yoga releases. So, raga dvesha viyuktaistu, vishayan indriyaischaran, atma vashyair vidheyatma. How is that possible? Again, the same thing is repeating. Because it's important, we miss it. Atma vashyair, keep the mind under the control of this self, means tune to that, focus to that. Let the intellect govern the mind. The intellect should be focused to the self. Krishna was the intellect, the charioteer. He governed the ego, Arjuna. Why? Krishna was Yogeshwara. He is tuned to that reality. That's called Atma Vashyai Vidheyatma. Then Prasada Madhigicchati. You gain quietude, peace, the nature of the self. That's called Prasada. That's why symbolically when you go to temple, they give you Prasada. Now you have seen God. You have been purified. So Prasada. And what happens when Prasada comes? Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso buddhihi padyavatishthat chetaso hi ashuhu buddhihi padyavatisthate. In sleep, your mind is not functioning. You are peaceful. At that time, do you remember your problems? Even physical ailments, family problems, business problems, all are not remembered when your mind, when you are peaceful, because detached from the mind. So all the harm done by the various factors recede when your mind is quiet and calm. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanihi asya upajayate. All dukkha, sources of sorrow, recede when your mind is quietened. Prasanna chetasaha ashuhu buddhihi paryavatishtate. Such a quiet mind, his wisdom becomes steady. He has no more confusions. He doesn't waver. He doesn't run from pillar to post. And if you do not gain this power of the intellect over the mind, if you do not integrate, if you do not control the mind through the intellect, if you are shattered, nasti buddhirayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutas sukham. For a one who is not steady, because he has not brought the mind under the control of the intellect, which is called yoga. Bringing the mind under the control of the intellect, which is called yoga. And that yoga state is called yuktaha. Yuktaha, integrated one. Yoga, integration. Yuktaha, the one who is integrated. If he is not integrated, nasti buddhi ayuktasya. He has no wisdom at all, no knowledge at all, because he has not integrated. And such a man who has not integrated the mind intellect, nacha ayuktasya bhavana, no meditation is possible. No meditation is possible. Nacha abhavayataha shantihi, one who has not been meditating, he cannot find peace. Nacha abhavayata shantihi, ashantasya kutas sukham. When you have no peace, you may have all comforts. Air-conditioned bedroom, 22 by 18, with home theater in the bedroom, with the latest fridge, best chocolates from all over the world. No peace of mind. You cannot enjoy those comforts. Therefore, ashantasya kutas sukham. If you don't have peace, comfort cannot give you the desired results. Tyagaraja sang this. Shantamu leka saukhyamu ledu. Shantamu, peace. Leka saukhyamu, comfort is not there. Tasmat, therefore, asya mahabaho nigrudhitani sarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratishtha. Therefore, one who brings the mind away from the senses, away from the sense objects, through the senses, his intellect is steady. If one who has restrained his senses from sense objects, means senses from sense objects means what? Senses, eyes from forms. Eyes don't run to the forms. Eyes can function, only the mind runs through the eyes. Ears can function, only the mind runs through the ears. If you withdraw the mind from the forms, from the sounds, and focus to the self, the sense objects fail to bind you. Your mind is at peace and your wisdom is steady. And now, I told you in the beginning of this particular section, Sthita Prajna, there are a few examples which are unique, outstanding, not repeated anywhere. We now came across two examples. One was the tortoise, the other was ladder of fall. Now there is a lovely example coming. What? You are telling us to drop desires. You are telling us to drop desires. Then how do I get happiness if I drop desires? Through desires only I fulfill my needs and I'm happy. You mean to say I should live a stone life or a plant life? He says, no. When you drop desires, the infinite joy that is your own self expresses and you gain infinite joy. When you drop finite joys, the cover that was covering this infinite joy in you is removed. What you experience is infinite joy. Can you verify? Yes. In sleep, when your mind, seat of finite joys and sorrows, is put aside, what you experience in sleep is infinite happiness. But there this individual is not aware of that because he is also taking shelter in ignorance, vasanas. That is what in meditation, you bring the state of sleep into waking. You bring the state of sleep into waking means consciously withdraw from the mind. And when you do that, you experience the joy, ocean of joy in you. So when you get away from desires, it's not a stone life or a plant life. It's gaining the infinite. Lose the finite to gain the infinite. Lose the finite to gain the infinite. So, lovely example. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. Munehe, contemplative one. As Gurudev says, Muni is not one with a long beard. Muni, Mananasilavan Muni. One who contemplates is called a Muni. And from that Muni comes Mauna. Nature of Muni is Mauna. Mauna is not physical silence. Your mind shut from the senses. That's called Mauna. When does it happen? When you are contemplating. When you are contemplating, you cannot be extrovert. When you are contemplating on the self, you cannot be extrovert. And at that time, what you gain that happiness is not known to this man who is running after sense objects. It's such a glorious state, not known to him. That which this man runs after, that glorious saint has no interest because they are paltry, they are finite, they are useless. He has no interest. And what this man is enjoying, they have no entry. Therefore, symbolically he says, what is day to a common man is night to this man. What is night to a common man is a day to this man. Doesn't mean he's a night watchman. What it means is that bliss to which this saint is awake. The ordinary man is sleepy, therefore it's a night. This man is awake, therefore it's a day. To what you are tuned, you are awake, your day is a night to him because he has no interest. That's it. Ya nisha, nisha, night. Ya nisha, sarva bhutanam, of average people. Tasyam, in that jagarti, this wakeful man, this alert man, samyami, who has controlled the senses, to him, he is awake. Where everybody sleeps, he is awake. Yasyam jagrati bhutani, where everybody else is awake, sa nisha pashyato. In that, the Muni, the contemplative one, sees night in that, darkness. And that state of joy, what this man experiences, is given in another extraordinary example here. What is the state of happiness? Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kamakami. Into the ocean, every minute, all the rivers like Amazon, Brahmaputra, Ganga, several rivers bring billions of gallons every minute. Ocean doesn't rise. And 2-3 years or a few years, there is no rain. Ocean doesn't get dried up. Flow of water cannot make it rise. No water, it doesn't dry. Similarly, outside world brings stimuli of desires. This man is not excited because he is experiencing the ocean of bliss in himself. In that ocean of bliss, the outpour of the outside world cannot make him elated or excited. And when outside world doesn't bring him stimuli, there is no water, this man doesn't get dried up because he is enjoying the bliss of the self. Apuryamanam achala pratistham. Apuryamanam, that which is complete, achala, motionless, pratistham, well established, samudram, ocean, apaha, pravishanti yadvat, as waters enter, tadvat, similarly, kama yam pravishanti sarve, all desire enter into this man of steady wisdom. Sashanti mapnoti na kama kami. Such a man has peace and not the one who desires, who runs after the desires. He cannot have peace. He will only have agitations. A man who experiences the bliss of the self and therefore doesn't allow his mind to run after, is not perturbed by the external world entering into him. And he is a man of steady wisdom. And now, the last two stanzas, because this is second chapter is the summary of everything. It has given us Sankhya, nature of the self, Karma Yoga, and then sense control, then meditation, now renunciation. Is going to talk about renunciation. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan pumancharati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha shashanti madigacchati. Vihaya, abandoning, kaman, desires, yaha, whoever he may be, sarvan, all desires, puman, this person, charati, moves amongst the same world, same objects, but nispruhaha, without attachment, no attachment. He doesn't think it's the body, I. And then I want. I plus I want is attachment. Nirmamaha, this is mine. Nirahankaraha, I am the doer and the enjoyer. This is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is to detach from the results, detach from the sense of agency, detach from the notion that you are the body, detach from the sense of enjoyership. All put here, all have come here. Nispruhaha, nirmamaha, nirahankara. Free from attachment, free from the sense of possession, free from the sense of doership, ahankaraha. Such a man, sashanti madigacchati. He gains peace. So here is renunciation. Vihaya kaman, casting off desires, casting off the ego. I, as the body, mine the possessions, relationships, all cast off. That's called sannyasa. Yesha brahmi sthiti prapya nainam Yesha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Titva Syamanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvana Mruchati. Yesha, this state, Brahmi, glorious, Sthiti, state. Yesha, this Brahmi, glorious, Sthiti, state, having got which, he no more deludes himself that the outside world can give him happiness. His mind is very clear. His mind is very clear. And when his mind is very clear, outside world cannot give me joys and sorrows. Outside mind cannot give me joys and sorrows. I have the source of all joys and sorrows infinite in me. He is not afraid of death. You don't want to die because you feel you are going to miss something. You don't want to die, you are going to miss something. This man has everything in him. He doesn't feel he is going to miss. Therefore, he is not even afraid of dying. Therefore, that state is called glorious state. Titva syam antakale. Even in the last minute before your death, if you can know this state, get established in that, right? Brahma Nirvana Vrichati. You shall gain that state of Brahma Nirvana. Nirvana means disrobing from the body, from the mind, from the intellect. That's called Nirvana. Brahma Nirvana. Disrobing the Brahma, the glorious Godhood from its associations is Brahma Nirvanam. He gains that state. He gains that state. So, do not say, I am too old. It's too late. No, even last minute you realize this. This world is useless. God alone is real. You gain that. You should never say, I'm too old. Even last minute, the ego dies. That's called the last minute. Actually, the death is not physical. The death of the ego. When it happens even in the last minute, you gain that freedom. So it's never too late. Never too late. We should continuously try to drop our association. As I said, today also, I was impatient somewhere. So you have to change. You have to decide no more. And it will happen. Okay, today it happened. No more I will allow. Decide. Right? So that's it. The emphasis in Gita, it comes a few times that even the last minute, so never say too late. You should try. The death of the ego is the death of all ignorance, death of death. Death of the ego is death of death. You gain immortality. Thus, the second chapter, summary of all Gita, which is the summary of Upanishads, which is Vedanta, has concluded. Om Tassati iti Srimad BhagavatGita Su Upanishadsu. Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad. Brahma Vidyayam, in the knowledge of Brahman, Yoga Shastre, along with the technique of actualizing it. Brahma Vidya, like any science, has two things, the theory and practice. Brahma Vidya is the knowledge of the self. To actualize that is called Yoga Shastra, integrating the mind and intellect. Krishna-Arjuna Samvade, in the form of dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. All our scriptures are in the form of dialogues, so that you ask questions and clarify. Sankhya Yoga Nama, the chapter called Sankhya Yoga because it's logical, Dvitiyodhyayaha, the second chapter. And now, here afterwards, he takes one by one topic which he has dealt in the second chapter and elaborates. In the second chapter, he said, you have to purify the mind through the karma yoga. Change the karma to karma yoga. And what is that karma yoga? Is dealt in 3 chapters. Chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Chapter 3, dynamic activity. That is, karma yoga is not stupid renunciation. You have to be dynamic and active. But the direction should be changed for the sake of totality, dedicated activity, dedicated to gain Godhood. Dedicated to gain Godhood. That is 4th chapter, Yajna Bhava. 5th chapter, renouncing the sense of doership and enjoyership, karma sannyasa. So 3 chapters are given. Dynamic activity, 3rd chapter. Dedicated activity, 4th chapter. Renunciation of the ego, 5th chapter. So 3rd chapter, but in all chapters, all are dealt. But emphasis is different. All the 3 I said are given in 3rd chapter also, 4th also, 5th also. But the emphasis is in 3rd chapter is dynamic activity. Now, it starts with Arjuna's question, because Krishna concludes that the state of meditation, sannyasa, is noblest. So Arjuna says, this is what I want. I wanted to renounce this war. I wanted to leave this war. And therefore, I wanted to get away to meditate. You told me, no, I should fight. And you are glorifying the state of renunciation and meditation. I am confused. I wanted to leave this terrible war where everybody is going to die, want to go for meditation. You said no. And now you are asking me to meditate. I am confused. That is how the chapter begins. Arjuna vacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkin karmani ghori mam niyojayasi keshava. Jayasi, superior, chet karmanaha te mata buddhihi, in your opinion, te mata, karmanaha, then action, buddhihi, knowledge, janardana, O remover of sorrows of all people, tatkin karmani ghore mam niyojes. In that case, if you feel that knowledge is superior to action, why are you wanting me to get into this ghora karma, terrible action of killing all people? Tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi, engage. Why are you engaging me into this terrible action of destroying lakhs and lakhs of people? Why are you doing that? And he's clarifying his own doubt in the next verse. Vyamisreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena sreyoham apnayam. Krishna, one time you were saying action is superior. Another time you were saying sannyasa is superior. I am getting perplexed. But Arjuna has faith in Krishna. So he doesn't say you are confusing me. He says Vyamisrena iva, as though perplexing. Your statements look as though perplexing. I am not able to decipher. I don't say you are confusing me. I feel as though confused. Vyamisrena iva buddhim mohayasi iva me. You are seeming to, iva, again iva, as though you are confusing me. It appears like that. Tad ekam vada nischitya. Out of the two, renunciation or action, ekam nischitya, having decided, vada, please tell me, yena, by which shreyaha aham apnuyam, I can gain the ultimate good. Every time you have before you the path of good, the path of pleasant. Every minute we choose path of good, some of them choose path of pleasure, but they are all topical goods, topical pleasures. They are not ultimate good, ultimate pleasures. So here, not killing the people seems to be good for me, but you seem to differ. Therefore, that's not the ultimate good. So please tell me, what is the ultimate good for me? Because your words seem to confuse me. And then Bhagavan answers. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Arjuna, there is no confusion. There are two paths. There are two paths. One who has to integrate the mind and intellect has to do it through Karma Yoga. One who has integrated the mind and intellect has to follow meditation. They are not two totally different things, number one, nor can be simultaneously practiced. They are anga and angi, limbs, right? Two segments of the same path. That's why he said, Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha. Nishtha is singular. This path is twofold. Nishtha is singular. This path is twofold. One segment, Karma Yoga. Other segment, meditation. What's the what is graduation? One segment is schooling, other segment is college. They are neither totally independent nor can be simultaneously done, nor are meant to both for the same person at the same time. They are not meant for the same person at the same time, nor that is, you cannot practice both at the same time, schooling and colleging, right? Similarly, Karma Yoga and Sannyasa, you can't practice at the same time, nor are they totally independent. Schooling is not independent of college. College is not independent of schooling. You need both, but in serial. In serial. Karma Yoga to purify the mind, and Sannyasa knowledge with the purified mind. So he says, Asmin Loke, in this world, Dvividha Nishta, twofold path, Pura Prokta Mayanaga. I have given this knowledge earlier. Which earlier? In the 4th chapter, he will clearly say that. That is, I, as the God principle, gave it to Son, Son gave it to Ikshvaku, like that. That is, all knowledge springs from God. All knowledge springs from God. So, I have given this earlier. That means what? Krishna is for the first time revealing that is an avatar. For the first time he is revealing that theory of reincarnation. Pura Prokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. For the people who are matured enough for logical discussion, Sankhyanam, Jnana Yogena, through the path of knowledge, karma yogena yoginam, for the people who are trying to prepare themselves for this knowledge through yoga, through integration of the mind and intellect, for them karma yoga. So I have given this earlier, this path with two segments. And now the importance of karma is going to talk. Na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushoshnute na cha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. Na karmanam anarambhat. Merely by not undertaking actions, you do not reach the state of actionlessness, naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam, actionlessness. Merely abstaining from actions, na karmanam anarambhat, not undertaking actions, naishkarmyam, state of actionlessness, ashnute, enjoys. Nor, nacha sanyasana deva, merely renouncing, siddhim samadhigat, you do not gain the ultimate state of Godhood. Siddhi is the ultimate state. Merely not undertaking actions, you do not gain state of actionlessness. Merely renouncing, you don't gain the ultimate experience of God. How? Actionlessness. Why do we act? You act because you want to gain something. So, desire precedes action. Why do you desire? Because you feel you lack something, sense of incompleteness. Why do you feel sense of incompleteness? Because you think you are the body, mind, and intellect. Why do you think you are the body, mind, and intellect? Because you are ignorant of the self. Ignorance of the self, avidya, brings desire at the intellect, kama, and therefore karma in the body. Avidya at the intellect, avidya of the spiritual thing brings desire, and desire brings actions. These three are called knots of the heart because they bind you. Avidya, kama, karma. So, when you say state of actionlessness, you have no desire. You have no desire means you have no incompleteness. You have no incompleteness means you are enjoying completeness, means you have knowledge. In that state of knowledge, you have no desire prompted activities. That state is called naishkarmya, state of actionlessness. That state is called naishkarmya, state of actionlessness. Not merely leaving actions. Merely leaving actions is not a state of actionlessness. Right? Nor leave everything and go to Rishikesh. That's not sannyas. You go there, what will you do? Your mind is coming with you. There you go and pick up quarrel. I was sitting under this tree. This tree is mine. You do not change anything. So you have to purify the mind and intellect and then detach. That's called sannyasa. Right? So he has said that there. And the next verse. Nahi kaschichanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krute karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. Why merely abandoning actions is not advised? Because none of us can ever for a split moment be free from action. Breathing is also an action. In sleeping also you are breathing. You cannot take away action from you. If you, Gurudev humorously says, when you become totally inactive or unactive, others around you become active. When you totally become inactive, no breathing also, others around you become active. Right? That means you are dead. So nobody can live even for a split second without action. Therefore, you cannot drop actions, and that is not sannyas. Nahi kaschit chanamapi jatu istati akarma. karyate hi avashak karma prakriti jair gunai. You are compelled to do by your own inner psyche, nature, and vasanas. You are compelled to act. You cannot abstain from activity altogether. When you go to bed, normally you get up at 8 o'clock. You have to catch a flight. You get up at 5 o'clock, even without alarm. Alarm have failed. You told somebody they forgot, but you get up. Who wakes you up at the right time? Your vasanas, your nature, your prakriti. They wake you up. So that will not allow you to keep quiet. You cannot abstain from activity as long as you are living. So importance of action is in that chapter. I told you importance of action in that chapter. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sauchyate. Physically abstaining from actions and sense objects. Karmendriyani, organs of action. Samyamya, controlling. Yaste manasas, mentally brooding over them. Physically abstain, mentally brooding over them. He is called Indriyarthan Vimudhatma, that deluded one who has withdrawn from the sense objects without losing taste for them, contemplating on them. Mithyachara Sauth. He is called a hypocrite. Physically, he is a renunciate, but mentally brooding over them. Therefore, what you should do? What you should do? Netam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo yakarmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyet akarmanaha. Whatever is your ordained duty, every minute you have some duties. I have to do this, I have to do that. But that's not prompted by the ego for the glorification, gratification of the senses, for the individual ego. It's a duty. I have to do this now. Niyatam kuru karma. Whatever is your ordained duty, do it without the sense of I, mine, I am the doer, I am enjoying. This has to be done for the welfare of all. And that's an offering to God. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayo yakarmana. If you are not going to improve through karma, how you will improve by not doing anything? Any day, action is superior to inaction. Sharira yatra apichatene na prasidhye dakarma. Even this journey of the body is not possible for one who doesn't act. I don't want to act, but I must eat food. Then what? You want others to act to feed you. You want others to act to feed you. That's not glorious. Your body also needs food. So abstaining from action is not glorious. Right? And it's not all actions that bind. It's not all actions that are evil. Actions done for the sake of others, for the sake of purification, for the sake of the totality, in the spirit of sacrifice, which is called yajna, they do not bind you. Actions done for others do not bind you. Actions done for the ego alone binds. Therefore, he says, yajnarthat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. Action you must do, but dedicated for totality, for a cause, not for the ego, for a cause, not for the ego. That's called yajna bhava, sacrifice. Through yajna bhava, when you do, those actions do not bind you. Yajnartha karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Actions done without the spirit of sacrifice, yajna bhava, they bind you. Tadartham karma. Therefore, do actions with the spirit of Yajna Bhava. What is Yajna Bhava? Mukta Sangaha, free from attachment. What is attachment? Depending on results. I plus I want. Samachara. It's not all actions that bind. When you do actions with Yajna Bhava, means no attachment, no dependency on the results. They do not bind you. Do that way. Poison kills, but poison also becomes a medicine in a limited dose prescribed by a doctor. Prescribed by a doctor. One drop of poison can kill a person. But that drop falls into a ocean, it doesn't affect anybody because it is dissolved. Similarly, the actions with this Yajna Bhava, though actions are poisonous, with Yajna Bhava, they do not harm anybody. They do not harm anybody. So do actions in the spirit of Yajna Bhava, which will come elaborated in the next chapter, 4th chapter. So, my book, one verse is, yes, there. Sahayagna praja sruštva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam yeshavo svishta kamaduk. Now, the glory of Yajna Bhava is highlighting. Sahayagnaha praja sruštva. The Lord, when He created this universe, He put this Yajna Bhava, spirit of sacrifice, into that as the last thing. Purovacha Prajapati, the Prajapati, the creator, said, Anena, by this Yajna Bhava, Prasa Vishyadvam, multiply, Yesha Vaha tu Ishtakamaduk. This Yajna Bhava will be your Kamadenu, milk cow, that will fulfill all desires. Now we are taking the class and it's online. Supposing some of the family are shouting, they have a quarrel and they do not want you to attend the class, you cannot attend. When you have to attend, so many people have cooperated for you. So any action needs the cooperation of many people. Cooperation of others, cooperation of nature, cooperation of your own health. So that's all called yajna, sacrifice. No creative activity can take place without the spirit of sacrifice. Where the spirit of sacrifice is there, you multiply your production. Therefore, he says, Saha yajna praja sruštva, having created these beings with the spirit of yajna, he says, Yeshavaha tu ishta kamaduk. This shall be your milk cow, kamadenu. It will give you whatever you want. That is the yajna bhava. And now he gives one more example. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuvaha parasparam bhavayantaha sreya paramavapsatha. Devas, gods. Who are they? The power to see in our eyes is called a deva. The power to hear in our ears is called a deva. The power to taste is called a deva. The power to smell is called a deva. These devas have brought several things to appease the hunger of these various senses, to appease the fire in them. That's called a sacrifice. In a sacrifice, there is a fire, you offer something unto it. In the fire of the eyes, you offer forms. In the fire of the ears, you offer sound. All that is yajna. And these devas inside each of them means those powers, productive potential. God calls devas as productive potentials. They bless you continuously. And you have to take care of them. If your eyes have to help you long time, you have to be careful what you feed, how much you feed. Same thing with ears. What you feed, how much you feed. You have to take care of them. They are helping you. You take care of them. Parasparam bhavayantaha devan bhavayato devan bhavayata anena te deva bhavayat. You take care of them. They bless you. Parasparam bhavayantaha, mutually nourishing each other. Sreyaha param avapsata. Ultimate good you will get if you are disciplined, if you are taking care of them. If you are disciplined, you will gain the ultimate good. And Ishtan bhogan hivo deva dasyante yajna bhavita daidattana pradayabhya yo bhunte stena yeva saha. Ishtan bhogan, all the joys that you want. These gods, these divine powers inside you, outside you. The rain, the sun, the moon, the air, they're all blessing you. Otherwise, you won't live. Both inside devas, outside devas. Through their blessing, you are living. Ishtan bhogan hivo deva. Dasyante, they are giving you. Yajna bhavitaha, they are giving in the spirit of sacrifice. Does sun god gain anything from blessing you with energy? Does Vayu gain anything by blessing you? They are giving without expecting anything from you, without judging, this fellow is good, I will give him life. That fellow is bad, I will not give energy and air. No, they don't discriminate. And they do not stop even for a minute. And they don't expect anything from you. They do not expect anything from you. They do not take even a minute's rest. They do not discriminate. Therefore, that's called Yajna Bhava. They are called gods. You want to become God? Work like them. Continuously work. Don't rest. Don't judge. Right? Don't expect anything. Don't rest. Don't expect. Don't judge. You will become God. They are giving you all the time, and you do not share it with others what you get from gods. You got something from somebody, and you do not give it back. Got something from somebody, don't give it back. You are misappropriating. Therefore, he says, Tena, you are a thief. Strong word. You take from nature everything and do not share it with others. Vyasa says, Krishna says, you are a thief. Lot of people say, I'm a self-made man. For you to be a self-made man, first, your systems are maintained by God. Outside world is maintained by God. The environment that you need is created by the total mind and intellect. We are having this Zoom class. We are having it because several scientific factors have developed. Total mind intellect has worked. So everything, the cinemas, the food, all people contributed to your endeavor. And you say, I'm a self-made man. Nobody is totally self-made. And therefore, when you get things from all, you don't share with them. Clearly, Gita says you are a thief. Tena eva saha. We'll see more of it next class. Okay? We'll see more of it next class. Today is 16, 23rd, nothing else. We are having a class. Okay. Om Purnamadaha Purnamadam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om, Uncle.